Sometime in 2023, Arome Osayi made an unsettling statement and prophecy which has been one of the reasons he is hated by many and considered maybe being judgmental by a lot.
But the security of the soothsayer is a cartel. I speak in parables. It's a cartel. The moment that lady was checked, the cartel that backed her up. And a lot of prophets have remained in the cave because of the fear of the cartel. Yes, Satan does not just launch, he provides security insurance policies to guard his manifestations in every generation. There are a league of pastors that are into diabolical immorality. Diabolical. It doesn't make sense anymore. This is not somebody falling into sin. I mean a diabolical dimension of immorality. And there's a league, a strong league. And the moment the lady comes out and says, there was something like this, those men will fight the lady and quell her into silence. There is always a cartel built. When Satan wants to make gains in a generation through falsehood, he does it through the power of a cartel. But you know what? The die is already cast. Before we hit mid-year 2023, you will begin to see the downfall of secret cartels that have been built to extend the shelf life of deception. He said, beware of Balaam.
But again, what if he was right and indeed knows of what he speaks about? Should we not collectively speak up against evil and even teach our brethren how to be discerning and avoid falling victim, or at least protect ourselves from ministration coming from polluted spirit of a false and immoral preacher that might be proceeding from the altar? Now, the recent event of BBC exposure has seen a lot of ministers sharing their opinion. I took time to listen to what Makandiwa shared as lessons from the BBC exposure. I do believe that this that he said confirms what we have been speaking up against, even on this platform.
You're coming to church for, you don't know. The way that most of these people have been abused, people that have been abused, this thing, it is gradual. If I'm going to help that constituency, I will help you by saying, if those women that you saw in the documentary, if they were really abused, if TB Joshua really slept with them, if that's the truth. So yourself as a constituency, what is there to learn? What are you going to learn from that? I'll show you what you need to learn. If it is true that he slept with them, this is the lesson for any of the victims. Either you are currently a victim or you are to become a victim in the hands of another man of God. This is the lesson. The attacks that you have watched, how the victims have been attacked, having been victimized by one man of God. And all of us men of God, we come out to defend our own. It's a sign that there is no hope for you. If you are to make a mistake of giving in, and you give a man of God access, and he sleeps with you, with the hope that you will threaten, with the hope that you will report the matter to the police, with the hope that you will do a documentary, this is a lesson to be learned. You'll come out and you narrate your story, and you know what people are going to demand? Evidence. It's a lesson that you need to learn before you get abused, because this is something that you can avoid. We will demand that you show us a video. So according to us, we were expecting you to carry a camera on your shoulder and you set it over there and you get raped. When people are saying, give us evidence, you will have people, listen to me, the next victim. If people say to you, we need evidence, even before you show them evidence, ask them, what do you consider to be evidence? You'll be shocked, because you can bring out overwhelming evidence and people can still refute. They can still deny it. You will be the only person who believes your story. So what's the advice? You better stay away. You need wisdom on how to conduct yourself. Now that you have seen how others have suffered in the hands of their own people, their own brothers, their own sisters, having been victimized, if they are really victims. It's a lesson to be learned. There is no place that you can go to. The only defense that you have, it cannot be the police. It cannot be a documentary. It cannot be an exposure. It cannot be a live broadcast of any sort. Forget it. Lessons to be learned from this is that I would rather not allow a man of God to touch me. Lessons to be learned from this. The closest people to you will come after you. In that same church, when you come out and you say that the man of God slept with me, there are also women in that church that the man of God has never slept with. They will come after you. 70-year-old women in that church, they will tell you, I've been in this church for 20 years. How come he never tried to sleep with me? They think if a man of God is sleeping with women, he has to sleep with every woman in that church. The mode of operation of an abuser is to spare the bigger chunk, 3/4 of your audience. You don't touch them, so that they rise up for you in the case a quarter that you have abused will start to speak out. How can somebody come out and say, the man of God has slept with me? And you are crying and you're telling the truth. And you hear someone coming out to defend that man of God, and he says, listen to the defense. Someone will come out, you having said that I've just been raped, somebody has slept with me, and you are crying and you need help. Someone comes out and he says, no, you are lying, because the man of God, we have seen him giving the poor a rise. He takes care of the poor. What has that to do with him sleeping with me? Even if he's a prophet, it's just one gift that he has. It doesn't mean that gift has destroyed his ability to sleep with a woman. No matter how we prophesy, no matter the miracles that you see us do, stay safe. When a man has made up his mind, when a preacher, when a man of God has made up his mind and he wants to exploit you, he wants to sleep with you, there is a certain protocol. I have to say this in trying to also defend and protect the victims, even the future victims. I'm not just addressing people in scorn. No, I'm talking about the church, the body of Christ at large. These are lessons to be learned. I'm telling every woman who is going to church, there is nothing that you are ever going to do to your man of God to bring him down and to expose him. We are now in a generation where now men of God, integrity is no longer a matter. Uprightness is no longer a prerequisite. Morality is not even a qualification. A dispensation has now come. A woman can come out and show you this boy that you see playing over there. That's his son. Your man of God impregnated me. This is the boy. And the man of God can even come out live and he's laughing. He says, so what? And the next service, there are people still in his church. That's the level of delusion that has come upon the body of Christ. There is nothing, if you are to allow a man of God to sleep with you, never think that you're going to have a strategy. The strategy has to be applied before. Take precautions. Now, of course, you hear some of the men of God saying, he came out and indirectly is attacking TB Joshua. He's saying TB Joshua did it. Now, you will notice that men of God came out. I also watched men of God that came out to defend TB Joshua. Even if I were to say TB Joshua did it, they also might have also said the same in their attempt to defend him. At what point? Because all of them, they admitted that TB Joshua is not perfect. They said, we are not saying TB Joshua did not do it. We are not saying TB Joshua is a perfect man. And the moment you mention that statement, then there must be room for him to have done this. Because you cannot say that a man of God is not perfect. We are not saying a man of God cannot commit sin. We are not saying a man of God cannot do that. And at the same time, you attack a victim. Because the victim is saying that percentage, you have admitted that there is a possibility that he can do so. So why are you so sure that they are lying if you are so sure that he's not perfect?
So let's be discerning and understand the time we are in. If you ask me, I think this is time whereby we should have no business with any preacher whose teachings are not doctrinally sound. We know the influence of a spirit in man's life by the characteristics of his conduct, character, exposure, actions, even as we see some of them on the glare on the social media. Maybe in our subsequent video, we might just have to share how you can spot a false preacher. But till then, this is Ifeanyi with the Potter's Media.